which is brew and tea most foul.
Woo!
Stories as the stories cowl. Oh, hello, everyone.
Hello, hello.
Hello, everyone. It is I, the Grand Arbiter.
And I'm Madame Askew.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello. Our video is taking a very long time to finish today.
No, it was going for the normal time. It was the normal amount of time. Hello, Grand Arbiter.
Taking a long time, spiritually.
Yes.
So, as a word of warning to everyone, my voice is still absolutely shot to hell, murdered, left for dead on the street.
Slayed. Hello, dear Ty. Hello, Alicia, Lady June Scott. So wonderful to see all of you. Hello, my darlings. Welcome to tea time. It's so fantastic to be with all of you tonight. It's Grand Arbiter. It's All Souls. Do you feel the spirits? Are they communing around you?
I feel like I need the more. It's certainly some spirits, but not the ones we need.
Oh, yeah, no. Mine is definitely just tea as well. But I do love my cauldron-shaped mug because it's so big and it holds so much.
It's quite iconic, to be honest.
So it's wonderful, right up until the cat claws me in the leg whilst I'm trying to take a drink, and then it's full of burning liquid that falls onto my flesh. Thank you, Cake, for that delightful moment that we could all enjoy together. Cake is full of opinions.
Who doesn't like burned flesh? Who's not like a big fan of burned flesh? Ooh, yeah.
'Tis the season of burned flesh, isn't it?
It is the season of burned flesh.
Yes, absolutely. That's part of the joy. And I believe later we'll be talking about the potential for burned flesh with this week's special topic. So that's exciting. All the flames.
Yes. So you and I have both been struggling with the limitations of our bodies. Mine with my voice.
Yes.
Yours with your patience for my voice.
No, I love you always, even when you are hoarse or mute because you have laryngitis.
I'm more of a mule at this point.
Perhaps you're a pony. You know, like
maybe a donkey. I've got a donkey in my throat.
Is that what they call it these days? Hello, dear Bill. Hello, Tracy. Alicia will do our best, but it's very hard for either the Grand Arbiter and I to protect you from the treasures on Disturbia, a goth haven if ever there was one. Poor Alicia. Victim to the stylish fashions and the gothic nuance of Disturbia.
We're victims of many things. You're the victim of BioWare. You have that BioWare brain rot right now.
I do. It's true, Grand Arbiter. Some kind friends did deliver unto me the joys of Dragon Age. Once more, the new game.
The Veilguard. Dragon Age Veilguard.
It calls to me. It is a siren calling to me. I'm having to resist because there is too much to be done. But I did indulge a little bit last night before turning in for bed, and it is beautiful.
Is it everything you wanted? Is it a dream made real?
It's everything and more, Grand Arbiter. Oh. It's extra gay, and that's just absolutely what I wanted.
You and I were complaining because that is what we do. We are in the art of complaining.
Well, at least periodically. Yes.
From time to time, one must complain.
It's always a good idea.
About how we are getting in our hundreds of years on this earth. Hallows Eve was not very successful this Thursday.
It was a complicated Hallows Eve.
Yes, a Thursday Halloween is always a little bit challenging.
It is.
And
Next year
I
we
had just arrived back from my convention,
That's
which
true.
meant I was persona non grata. I was in the arbiter sleep.
You were. Oh my goodness. And as Ty says, 'tis the season of extra gay spookies. We love that. We adore that. We are here with extra gay spookies
You know what
ourselves.
my favorite holiday meme is?
What?
It's the I hate gay Halloween meme.
I don't know that one.
So it's a meme. I'm gonna tell you about a meme
Yes.
because that's the lived experience we have is me absorb internet information and I distill the best parts to you.
Yes, perfect.
That's our relationship as we've established.
Yeah, that and comics, anime,
Television.
yes, that's true.
And also, if you haven't watched Agatha all along, you should. It's super good and super gay. And if anyone tells you it's bad, they're wrong.
They are wrong.
End of sentence. But I hate gay Halloween is a meme joke about how gay people will do very niche costumes.
Oh,
like I hate gay Halloween. What do you mean you're? And then it's a very niche costume. Like I hate gay Halloween. What do you mean you're the 2 inches removed from from the schoolgirl outfit that has been, or what do you mean you're a mess of missing pattern pieces? I hate gay Halloween. What do you mean you're a side character of a side character of a side character?
Well, I mean, I did once. All right, here's my most niche costume I ever wore for Halloween, and and then we shall talk a little bit about Agatha because Agatha is consuming all of us all along, dear Tracy. So many years ago, I was invited to a fancy dress fete for Halloween, and I came as the risen dead sort of lich of a woman who had been Toulouse-Lautrec's model. And of course, no one got this, but I rigged it so I had like a choker that looked like I had a paintbrush being stabbed through my neck. I thought it was genius.
I think it's genius. I don't understand it, but it sounds genius.
I wore a like little can outfit, like I was a can dancer who'd been painted by Toulouse-Lautrec, but then I slipped and I fell and I stabbed myself and died on one of his paintbrushes. But it was Paris in the 19th century, so of course I was so embalmed by absinthe that I could not die, and I came back as like a lich.
I think that that's very good. I don't think I've ever had very niche costumes, although I did go as an 80s final boy at the Magic Con.
It was wonderful.
I don't have a lot of niche costumes in me. Honestly, one time I went as fall, like autumn. I went as the spirit of autumn. My mother spent many moons cutting out paper leaves out of construction paper, and she gave me a dried sunflower as a staff.
Oh, your mum, so good. That's
very talented. Very talented.
I love that. I love the sunflower staff.
And also one too, a dried out one. Really so embodies me, a dried out desiccant of a person.
Even as a child, look at that.
Even as a child, just absorbing all things in the room.
Oof. Alicia, I love this. Never a fashion victim, but always an empress of accessories. I am here for that life. It's so wonderful. So good. Hello, Dina. Hello, Diana. Hello, dear Deborah. Hensley Tay. Happy spooky season to all of you. We are just going to keep being spooky until we decide not to be, honestly. We're going to take this all the way into December.
We're going to be in mourning till at least after the conclusion of the events on Tuesday.
Yes. Yes. That's true. Yes. True. By the way, just a reminder, everyone, if you're registered in the United States,
go and vote today.
Vote, please go vote. Yes. So, oh, these are wonderful. I love both. I love these. Wonderful. Also, never stop being spooky. Absolutely.
We're physically incapable of it.
Yes. Never stop.
I don't know. Do you want to hear a fun voting thing?
Yes.
So in the Seattle gay community, there's a lot of erotic art exchanged for those who confirmed voting.
Oh,
so like people, like really hot people who want to get people to vote, they just say, I'll send you nudes if you can prove you voted.
That seems more legal than some things. So
I mean, it's not exchanging money. It's just sort of like, I don't know. It seems legal technically.
Also, Deborah, I love that you were Flower the skunk in elementary school. That is a wonderful costume. Flower's so great. Yes. Oh, June has voted she would like delivery of special art.
I mean, I'll see what we could do. I'm not sending you mine, June. That would be a bridge too far.
No, but maybe we'll post sultry ankle pics on.
Oh yeah. If you can prove you voted, I will show you the top part of my ankle for sure. It will be socked, however. It's just
It's terrible. So now that we've had our wonderful
make sure you vote blue or get blue balls.
So, I'm glad we can open with a little bit of humor about voting and whatnot.
No, but for real, voting is very important. Make sure you know your local stuff as well. Mm-hmm. I for sure do. I have voted on a lot of local stuff. And I don't think of her as a personal nemesis, but I certainly don't like her, and I've actively not voted for her twice. I'm excited for hopefully our new city council person. Hopefully they will be very good, and are not named Tanya Wu. Ideal.
Well, and there you have it.
Here first, I, the Grand Arbiter, immortal sass maker of From Beyond the Stars, says, Tanya Wu can suck a brick.
So Grand Arbiter, we have a special request. Before we go, we have much to discuss tonight, everyone. But the Scone Mistress has asked if you will give some special fairy godparent advice, perhaps, or babushka advice.
Do you want to summon babushka askew? Is that what has to happen right now?
Well, Scone Mistress is very excited and has requested.
Oh, she thinks this is babushka askew. Well, I will tell you right now, she's not here right now, but let me see if I can pull her out of the back.
Yeah. Oh.
What do you want, child?
Oh.
I haven't done my beauty treatments, so we're keeping this whole thing covered up. It's too. If you saw the horror that is my uncovered face, your infant child would turn into a rutabaga. Let's say that. I, my most beloved grandchild, what advice do they want?
So the request was made for advice for an 11-month-old infant. And I assume this is in
They're
the.
excellent with a great parmesan.
No, the child is meant to live and become an adult, not be consumed.
Ugh. Okay. Make sure the oven is off before you put them inside for nap time.
Oh, no, that's not. No, the advice is for the child. Like,
Oh,
okay,
like
no, Babushka,
yes,
remember our neighbor Maleficent? Remember when you were living next door to that really very overwrought black
absolute wretch
castle?
of a woman,
Yes,
obsessed. She
yes.
just she's just obsessed with invitations. I delight in not being invited to things. It just means I'm better than everyone else. I'm a hard invite to get, you know. Even if you send me an invite, I will definitely send you a bag of dog poo instead of my present.
I've heard that about
It's actually technically it's Cerberus poo,
oh,
and it comes in three. Because I don't know if you know about this, but
no.
Cerberuses have 3 heads and
Oh,
3 anuses.
do they?
Yes, they do. And when they poo, it spirals together into a really beautiful, giant,
No,
like ice
no,
cream shape.
no, no. No. Oh God. All right. Well, Babushka, with that
What
amazing
was the
image,
question?
the question is, and I referenced Maleficent because I know how you feel about her, and obviously you want to do better than she does on the advice front. So it's advice to the child for when she is an adult or when she's
Oh,
on the cusp of adulthood. What would you wish for this infant upon the cusp of adulthood? Mm.
I think I would say
Mm-hmm.
devour men buy gold.
Devour men by gold.
Yes.
Thank you, Babushka. I fear that we should likely send you back to your plane of
Well, I
existence.
don't want to be here. It's just absolutely foul. All of these little eyes watching me. I know you think I'm just so hideous under here, but the truth is I'm so beautiful that you'd all die. I'd kill you, but I said I wouldn't do that anymore on the live stream.
Thank you. Thank you. It's very messy. All right, Babushka, thank you for putting in a very brief appearance. And if I could have the
Hi,
grandma
we're
back.
done now. Silence.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Good.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Adieu.
Goodbye.
Well, Scott Mistress,
How's everybody doing? Is everything good in here?
it's so colorful now. It's just that was a moment that I shall never forget with Babushka Askew, and I learned so much about Cerberus anatomy that I never
Oh,
expected. So,
did you know that
Grandma,
if you pet the left head one, the right head one will also feel it?
I
Is
did
that
not.
what she talked about? How easily they're pet and they love scritches?
No, that was
Oh,
not it. But that's all right. We're going to never discuss what she shared because uh I cannot.
I
So
mean, I wasn't here, so I wouldn't know, and I
oh,
am blissfully ignorant. Happily, I guess.
you are so fortunate. I shall never erase that from my mind. So, Grand Arbiter, before we get into our topic of our official topic of the week, we do have some news. We're going to save the news for the end today rather than bringing the news in at the beginning because we want to take at least 5 minutes to talk briefly. We have to be brief, but we will come back with a longer discussion later. But briefly discuss Agatha all along because she's on all of our minds. She consumes all of us. We've got some good advice. Don't join don't join her bands in the wood or other way.
I
It's
just don't think
very
you need to hang out with her. She doesn't really seem like arguably that much fun regularly. I mean, I think she's fun to watch, but
true.
like I think in real life she'd be really unpleasant to be around.
She's got wonderful fashion sense.
I mean, but they all do.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Even the
But
gardener lady.
oh yes, Cheryl, right? Yeah, poor guy.
Sharon Davis.
Sharon Davis. I'm as bad as Agatha. No, it was really, it's such a good show. If you haven't watched it yet, I recommend putting it on your watch list. And also, our dear Butler
I
Supreme is
think
my
following witches is fine. I think following Agatha specifically seems like less of an ideal experience.
a little, a little. Um,
I'm just saying, I think you would be left with less skin than you would like, is my suspicion. Like, it's a leather dungeon, but like the idea is that they make leather out of people there.
oh, I mean,
So like
Agatha.
I just don't think it's a good idea.
Hmm. Oh my goodness.
Like
All right.
really you're gonna be like made into the lesbian leather.
Oh no.
She's
Shocking.
not a good lady. Like
But she has,
objectively.
I think she has room. She has room for like some growth. And I
This
love
is
this
this
tie
is
is going to
this is
risk it all.
some sapphic brainwashing shit. No. That's a terrible idea. She's a bad date. The only person that she could be with is literal death.
Oh, oh, yes. And they clearly did not have a very, you know, they had a complicated, I think, relationship. We
I
don't
mean,
want to give
y'all
any
can make
away.
whatever decisions you want. The ideal date is actually Jen, to be perfectly honest.
Oh, oh, that's true. That's true. So, not to give too many spoilers, but there may be some spoilers in the next few minutes. So, we'll try not to give too much away as
And
the show.
even if you're spoiled, it's good enough that it's worth watching anyway.
That's true. But I think that Agatha showed some glimpses, some glimmers that maybe she has a redemption arc out there.
I just don't think that that's what she's in it for.
Well,
She's
that's
in
not what she's in it for.
I just don't think it's like in order to have redemption arc, you have to have shame about what you did. And Agatha has no shame about anything that she's ever done.
No, I think she does have shame about what she's done.
Like
I,
what?
I'm not. That is a massive spoiler.
I just don't think she does have shame about it. She's perfectly happy about it. She just, what she wants, she gets. And if she doesn't want that, like, I think that she made choices that all served her. There was never a choice where she was making a choice explicitly. They're all serving her interests and what she follows her own moral code. And that moral code is she's the only person that matters. And that is okay.
That is not entirely accurate.
I mean, at this current juncture.
All right, that's fair. So, but Agatha herself is very complicated. Her fellow witches, her sister comrade witches, are delightful actors. All of them. They all do a wonderful job. Who was your favorite of the witches?
I have a real soft spot for Patti LuPone.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
Lilia is a great character.
she's fantastic.
I know that Lord Asplund had a favorite though.
Ooh.
So Lord Asplund's favorite is the Protection Witch.
Oh, I love her too. Oh, I would go out with her in a hot minute. She's so delightful and just curmudgeonly enough to like really be the grumpy to my sunshine, and I love that. But
and she's only a little grumpy, which makes it more palatable for me. She's like
yeah.
grumpy. She's curmudgeonly, not grumpy.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it. And the actor does such a wonderful job with her. So that which is Alice. I forget her first name all the time, but the last name Wu Gulliver. I just love that hyphenate last name. Um, yeah, yeah, and also being older sisterish with Teen was so cute on her part. But I have to agree with everyone. Patti LuPone, absolutely, she was amazing.
I
think
mean, if
my
she doesn't get an Emmy for episode 7, I just think that is probably just wrong.
Right, she's so amazing. And yes, Alicia, yes, Alicia is correct. Everyone, you need to watch this. It is wonderful. It's excellent spooky viewing. It's fantastic.
It's also like pretty short. It's like 30 minutes an episode ish over 8 episodes, 9 episodes. It's not particularly.
Are they 30? They seemed like they were 45.
They're like 30 to 45, but you got to put in the like opening sequence, ending sequence time frames.
Yeah, I thought they were wonderful.
Emmy, please.
Emmy. Yes, absolutely. We are here for that, and it's just a great show. So, and the last episode just aired. It was powerful.
I liked it a lot. I know that some people were like disappointed with the ending, but I just don't think you can please everybody. And I think this show is as close to perfect as Marvel's gonna get, and it is by far like the strongest showing of Marvel shows. I think the only one that gets
in the tops. It's in the tops.
I think it's definitely like what I would say is it's the best model of Marvel show we've seen. Low budget, concise storytelling, has a show Bible.
I love that. Let us all find our Agatha friends and connect. It's wonderful, and hope for a second season. I fingers crossed.
I mean, we're not getting a second season because it's not that kind of show.
You think not?
No, it's just like WandaVision. It's a limited series.
Oh, I felt like they set up.
No, it's set up for the next one in this trilogy, which is Vision Quest.
Oh, see, this is. I did not know. We've got not a hot take, but a thoughtfully developed and very fulsome take from Ty. I agree with you. I think that the themes were really laid out from the beginning, and they all wrapped up at the end.
No, the next one's going to be centered on Vision because it's Vision Quest. So it's going to be Vision centered, is my suspicion. Oh. It may be Vision, and I suspect it will be like Vision and Tommy or Vision and Billy or something of that nature. But who knows? We know that Ultron's coming back. I don't know. the internet is filled with things.
Mm.
I
So,
think the big thing about it is uh it's not like She-Hulk in that it's intended for only a single season.
mm,
It's all sort of like not intended to be another season of the same thing, which I think is probably for the best. And they have been talking about Young Avengers. They're setting up for Young Avengers. It's all happening. The puzzle pieces are falling into place. I just think the big thing to think about is just like enjoy things for what they are, not what they could be, everybody.
oh, such advice, Grand Arbiter. Also, honestly, it's a wonderful show. Whether there's more to it or not, it's just a delightful little gem. Absolutely recommend it. Wonderful spooky season viewing and great sort
And
of.
Lord Asplund all by himself has ensured that um the Ballad of the Witch's Road is in the top 4 of Spotify. So like all by himself. So
Oh,
congratulations to him.
thank you, Lord Asplund, for doing that. It is a banger, as the young people say. So, but this is our little tangent for this evening. We're going to wrap in to our other spooky season topic for this evening.
Our
This is
Patreon Corners topic is surviving as a gothic heroine. Our gothic heroine for the day being the Grand Arbiter.
that's correct. You are the gothic heroine, and everyone, when you are going to help me and the Grand Arbiter with this conversation, this was voted on by our wonderful Patreon community. It was inspired in no small part by the Hammer horror films of the 70s and 60s, and also by our own dear Argent Peacock, Alicia, who loves films, knows them all, is our resident expert. But the conversation is here's the format that the Grand Arbiter and I have developed. Grand Arbiter, would you like to talk about our little format for this evening? All right,
You're
then all right.
I am merely a young woman and the prime of my bosom.
You're an ingenue worth her weight in.
Worth her weight in tit.
So, so the Grand Arbiter is going to suggest ways that this heroine is going to try and navigate various horror, spooky, scary movie scenarios to survive.
Obstacles of gothic intention.
Yeah, yes, survive as a gothic heroine.
Caltrops of narrative, as it were.
And we are going to, first of all, I would love your help coming up with some scenarios for the Grand Arbiterina to survive. And I'm going to talk about all the reasons why the Grand Arbiterina is likely going to fall and break her ankle and succumb to the scandalous affections of Count Dracula or what have you. So,
No, me and my bosom will escape this haunted nightmare unscathed.
And yes, Alicia, I know that this is a title that you, Bill, Tracy, and Eve share together. You are our resident experts, and I'm so grateful for all of you. And so, Grand Arbiterina, you receive an invitation, and you are being invited to a house party in the country around Transylvania, a very wholesome neighborhood, even though you are but a young girl in the prime of her peachy bloom in London. Your family feels that you should go to the country around Transylvania to perhaps, yes, meet a charming hussar soldier, and win him to your affection so that you may marry a bit of wealth into the family and do right by your family.
Do I have an escort, a companion,
Oh, you have a chaperone.
a
Yes,
chaperone?
you have your spinster auntie, who is your chaperone, and spinster auntie definitely needs a name, and this is correct. There must be a
I don't.
chaperone.
I feel as the young ingenue of my family,
Mhm.
on the precipice of the poorhouse.
Oh yes, yes.
Really, like we only have the 2 sets of silver. Um, Not the 3rd set. That's how we
No.
know we had to sell our 3rd set of silver to keep us in the height of fashion. I
Also,
feel that it is necessary for me to go.
Aunt Lydia is your chaperone.
I definitely think this one is my favorite, though. Okay, so
All right.
I don't feel like I have much of a choice.
No.
However,
No,
I
your
am
parents sold that 3rd set of silver to keep you all not only uh, in the height of fashion, but also to make certain that your brother could get his commission. And he met the young hussar soldier, and he
my
has been
brother knows him.
talking about
It's
you.
probably fine. So
It's
to I'm going to bring the most demure clothes I own.
of course
Mm, so demure,
so
so tasteful,
so modest.
incredibly like you can't see nothing. It's like all the way. Those skirts
All
go
day,
all the way down to
all
the
the way
floor
to
and
the
all
floor,
the way up to the
all the way.
neck.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, a lot of lace.
they are fashionable and protect against vampires.
And with the amount of protection you can get from lace,
I mean,
grandma.
of course, I wouldn't go anywhere without my decorative silver forks, which of course adorn my my collar,
Oh,
with
how
a very
unfortunate.
tasteful fork chain because nothing says ready for anything like having silverware available.
Indeed, your chaperone, Aunt Lydia, is a bit concerned about your fork chain, but she knows it's all the rage, a la mode
From
for the young
Mulan.
from Milan. Very fashionable. But you do have to be careful to keep your posture very upright. If you slouch at all, of course, you will die on your own fork.
No. They're pointed down like this, or
Oh,
they're pointed up like this. It's fine. They're just out and away.
you still have to have very good posture.
I
And
mean, I always do.
mm,
Um,
mm,
but I will take Ian's advice as well as we will be traveling for a long time. I am going to also pick up a series of books about Transylvania and Transylvania mythology. So I
oh,
have things to talk to the Hussar about
yeah.
because what if he finds me boring? I can't have that.
Your chaperone, Aunt Lydia, is concerned about many things.
Okay. So
All right.
that is my current I have armed myself in the armor of Prudentia and
Oh,
uh and I have wield the most powerful of weapons, books that you can buy easily at a bookstore.
all right. Well, you and Aunt Lydia, of course, are going to have to travel first by ship across the channel, then by
God, I'm glad I brought books. Lord.
train across the countryside. And as you arrive in
Oh,
Romania,
I'm absolutely also grabbing one orange.
one orange.
Yes.
A
To
single
yes.
orange.
To save off scurvy while I'm on the boat.
Oh, the dread scurvy. Well,
Nothing is less sexy than an unread bitch who doesn't have enough vitamin C.
and there's a question of whether or not Grand Aventurina remembered to bring a tactical parasol.
I didn't bring a tactical parasol because unfortunately I know no lesbian inventors. It's a real tragedy. I constantly think about it. I write about it in my diary all the time that I don't get out of the house enough to meet a lesbian inventor. And I really need to get married so I can go gallivanting where I please.
Well, sadly, as you are traipsing across the ocean, it's a very short seafaring voyage across the channel to get to France, where you will take the train. But you discover that your luggage was not well tied down and that some of your bags have been lost at sea, as is wont to happen when
My
one is
beautiful armor of Perpetua. I didn't say we don't. Lydia, live your life.
Oh, how dare you talk to your aunt in that tone of voice? Just for that, Aunt Lydia has concerns about your meritable state.
Ugh.
And of course, she offers you some of her wardrobe to make certain that you are properly kitted out
I'm
for
glad that
the
Lydia doesn't
journey.
dress like a slut.
Oh, 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 but it is the 1800s. Even Aunt Lydia's neck is more exposed. And
Oh no!
so
My beautiful neck exposed to the elements.
yes, it's true. It's true. Your neck is now exposed to the elements, but it's all right because you have an opportunity to stop in Paris on your way to Transylvania. Oh, yes. How the wheels of Fortuna ever turns. It's true. So, of course, Aunt Lydia has concerns about allowing you to simply traipse about Paris on your own. So, she will be chaperoning you about, but you can take a short shopping diversion. You have 12 hours before your train departs.
Well, of course, I need to get a scarf for the train because
Oh,
it will be cold on the
oh,
train.
yeah.
It will be
Oh,
cold everywhere. It is Transylvania. So I will get a scarf and I will get a tasteful scarf.
a tasteful scarf, an
And
elegant scarf.
yes, and I will, of course, pin it in place with my fork.
So, upon completing your purchase, Aunt Lydia is very desirous to get a little bit of refreshment on the way to the train station. And whilst you are there, indulging in a little bit of refreshment, a very distinguished gentleman approaches the table. And actually, let me edit. I'm going to take that out of the manuscript, scratch it out. A very distinguished lady scholar approaches the table and introduces herself as
The safety of sisterhood.
and she seems to be very enamored of your chaperone, Aunt Lydia, in particular, and notices your book about Transylvanian
Myths
uh,
and legends.
folklore. Yes,
From
and
the tea to the Ranny,
yes.
Transylvania, Transylvania adventures.
And she mentions that she is also on her way to Transylvania for scholarly research purposes and wonders if she might join you at your table for um, for refreshments.
Well, I, of course, remembering that I have to be a demure, good girl because I am noble and good and read
Mm.
books.
And so
But
modest.
I don't say it out loud. I think it. I'm allowed to think a thought.
Oh yeah, no, I was just agreeing with you. You
Yeah.
are so modest as well.
Yeah. Um, I am going to defer to my distinguished, talented, and quite beautiful Lydia.
Mm,
Auntie Lydia, would you like for this person to join us?
mm,
I, of course, make no rejections to such things.
mhm,
You are my chaperone, and I trust you implicitly.
yeah, I believe that Aunt Lydia is very open to including a blue stocking in your party. And as this delightful, distinguished lady joins you, she mentions that uh, she is originally of German descent. She is the granddaughter of a very famous scholar. Uh, One Professor Van Helsing. And well, yes, so her name, of course,
I have heard that name in a book.
her name is, of course, Peterina Van Helsing.
There's a lot of Renas in this community. They're just they're just obsessed with princess stuff. It's like Disney before Disney happened.
So Peterina Van Helsing, scholar, academic, and dashing companion, immediately makes friends with your chaperone, Aunt Lydia, and you find that the two of them spend so much time in conversation over books, over hot cocoa, in the sort of food and beverage portion of
Dining car?
the dining car. Thank you. My goodness. Thank you. Could not remember the word dining suddenly. And you have so much more time to yourself whilst you're on the train, and you become a bit lonely. But there is a mysterious stranger who's always nearby whenever you're trying to find a place to read your book. And he's always making eyes at you, sort of mesmeric eyes at you. What do you do?
Tell the constable. This is you're telling me that there's a weird man that I don't know leering at me every corner I turn.
He's
I
very
may
handsome.
be a debutante. I may be uh, a nubile young thing. I
He's
do
very
not
charming.
like I I do not think Googling, I mean, quite, I don't know how charming that can be. And he's
He's
not even talking.
very wealthy, you hear. Do you still resist his charms? Your family
I
have weds.
I prepare myself with my bifocals
Oh, you're bi.
to ensure that I can read properly. Got to
Yes.
ensure I can read properly, but also so that my eyes are not in direct contact with his mesmeric
Oh,
gaze. If
yes.
and I am going to sit and I am going to, of course, say, well, you are welcome to sit in the train. It is a free train. It is a
Oh,
train of our own making. If you choose to sit here, know that I cannot acknowledge you as my chaperone is doing something over here. I
oh.
can see her and she
Mm,
can see me.
mm.
I am within her visual proximity.
Oh,
I do not wish to gain her ire, but I also do not wish to offend.
I see. Well, of course, the dapper gentleman nods. He cannot. Of course, he must. He must listen to you and consent is everything. He's very clear. But you should know, because the question was asked. Let's see if I can do this, everyone. He is, yeah. This is what he looks like, everyone. This is the man who's been leering at the Grand Arbitrina and trying to flirt with her.
You know, the problem is that I've read too many books and I know what that hairstyle is called. And I don't like anything about it.
Oh, oh, the stranger is thirsty and he might be a trap. But the Grand Arbitrina has resisted his smoldering gaze and turned him down. The conductor was not terribly helpful. He suggested that you were leading the gentleman on by resisting his advances because
Very
everyone knows
helpful.
that
Very good.
men
Good to
love
know.
the hunt.
I will, of course, inform Lydia immediately of a leering gentleman around me.
Aunt Lydia is very effective, and not only that, her dear friend Peterina Van Helsing is similarly helpful, and they both come to your aid and whisk you away back to your private car for a game of whisk.
Okay, great. I love strategery, and I love actually, I love Auntie Lydia. She's a mean bitch, but she's a bitch who knows what she wants, and I appreciate that in a person.
Absolutely. Well, Aunt Lydia and Peterina keep you occupied in your private car for the next many days as you are riding across the landscape in the Iron Stallion of the Orient Express, making your way ever closer to Transylvania, where you hope to meet some charming, dashing hussar at a house party just outside Transylvania. The trip passes without much note until you get to the train station. And once there, you, Aunt Lydia, and Peterina find yourselves in a bit of a pickle. There is but one carriage, and that carriage has a broken wheel. Oh no, you are stranded at the train station. What will you do?
I think I will ask Lydia if I need to use my feminine wiles and my ample tracts of land to ensure us safe passage to the party.
You do catch the eye of
I'm
a man.
asking Lydia if it's allowed first. I need to make sure it's appropriate.
I see. Aunt Lydia, we have a suggestion of asking a local farmer for help. That seems actually very practical and almost reasonable. Um, fresh horses.
Okay, so I think asking a farmer makes a lot of sense. So I'm going to approach a local farmer who looks the minimalist, as the least creepy possible.
The least creepy local farmer that you can find.
And I'm going to ask them politely with the promise of one of my very rare, hard to come by collectible teaspoons. This one is from Quebec.
Quebec. My goodness. A Canadian teaspoon for our Transylvanian farmer.
And I don't speak Transylvanian, but I do speak eye butterflies.
You speak
like Morse code through my eyes.
A little charade, a little eye butterflies. You do happen to find a delightful grandfatherly farmer, and very fortuitously, Peterina Van Helsing does speak the local language Romanian. She says it is necessary for her research, and she is very happy to act as a translator and to confirm that Farmer is a little bit overwhelmed by the teaspoon, it turns out, and he pulls on a set of gloves before handling it. Something about being concerned that he will besmirch the silver and smudge it, and it's such a precious gift that he will add it to his granddaughter's trousseau.
Knowledge check. Before I hand it to him, I just gently put it on his I put the spoon gently on his wrist that is exposed, just to check.
Well, he does give a surprised shake of his wrist, a little startlement. He looks askance at you. Oh my goodness! And he says to the Peterina that he is a married man and that he's very happily married, and he would never. That's so scandalous for you to brush his bare flesh with your silver spoon. He's all right, though. No smouldering occurs. He's clearly not affected.
I apologize profusely. I'm a clumsy, dumb bitch. I'm just so clumsy. I tried to hand it to you, and my hand. I'm just very, very clumsy. So clumsy. That is my defining trait. Like all girl protagonists in the last 30 years, my defining trait and hardship is my deep-seated clumsiness.
He forgives you, but he does warn you that comfortable, sensible shoes are always a good idea when going out into the country, especially here. But he offers you and your aunt and your new friends from the trip, Peterina Van Helsing, room in the back of his hay wagon, so that he may transport you to the local inn.
Okay, we're not going straight to the party. We're going to go to the inn, get ready, then go to the party. Okay.
Oh no, he overhears you saying that you are going to a party, and he clutches his substantial muffler around his neck, because we all know farmers want to wear very thick scarves when it's cold because they're out in all weather, and he's very concerned. He's concerned that you're going to any local castles, and he asks you which one it could possibly be that you're going to.
Of course, it's Castle Murderblood.
Oh no! Oh no! He pales. He's very concerned. He starts telling you tales about how there are terrible creatures in the woods around Castle Murderblood, and that if you must go there, you should be aware of the dangers that could occur. And also, you should try this new, very special garlic perfume that's all the rage amongst the young ladies in his village.
I will take the garlic perfume with the understanding that the spoon was of great value to him. So I don't owe him more, but I'm asking him for one more thing.
Oh.
I hunger quite greatly, and I really need a small itty bitty bag. My favorite food is, of course, loose grain. And I need a small little bag, like a little tiny one of just loose grain.
Loose grain?
Yes.
Like bulgur?
Yeah, sure. It doesn't matter. It needs to be loose. It needs to be like a substantial amount, enough for a young lady of my size, but not so much that it will make my costume bulky.
Oh, I see. Well, the farmer is very happy to report that his delightful spouse packed a meal for him, and within that meal He will be happy to share a little bit of nosh with you. He would hate to see someone the age of his granddaughter wasting away unfed. He gives Aunt Lydia a bit of a look, assuming that the chaperone is not doing her job. This definitely engenders a little bit of tension in the hay wagon. But then he hands you a bundle of pilaf. The grain is not raw, but it is grain, but it's been cooked clearly, and he is watching you to see if you'll eat it or not.
I'll take one little bite, like very delicately, very little tiny, just like one grain. And they're like, oh, well done, al dente. I love it. It's not mushy at all. It's my favorite.
I see.
It's an al dente, very clear individual grains.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Don't we all want some tabbouleh and kibbeh at this point. So you make your bumpy ride along in the wagon. Aunt Lydia and Peterina Van Helsing are much involved in their conversation, head to head, deeply entranced with each other, reading a book together, leaving you entirely on your own. And that's when you hear the howling in the forest. And our farmer begins to pale and look a little bit concerned. The sun is setting, it's getting dark. He asks you if you wouldn't much rather come stay at the farmhouse with him and his family.
I feel like the inn is appropriate, and I'm a woman of very little means currently, but historically I've had great means, and I don't go backwards.
I see. All right, well, he'll take you to the inn then, instead of his farm. And when you come to the innkeeper is delighted to make you, your auntie, and Peterina Van Helsing very comfortable. But he admits that he only has one single room and a double room available. He doesn't have a room that can contain all three of you, and he doesn't have three separate rooms at this time. Of course, your chaperone offers to sleep in the same room with you, as is her duty, but
I am not going to sleep alone. I am sorry. You can hang out all you like before bedtime, but I am not sleeping alone in a bedroom with wolves outside. That's just not going to happen.
All right, so you and your delightful auntie take up space in a room that has a wonderful window that opens up, looking out onto the forest. The innkeeper explains to you that this is the very best view at the inn, and he's so pleased that you got the best room. But he also points to the silver nails and the horseshoes around the window, a little bit of protection against those feisty werewolves that exist out in the forest.
I nudge Lydia we should ensure that he is tipped correctly for being so prudent around the supernatural.
All right. So, do you latch the window?
Of course I do. I'm not crazy. It's cold. Like, even if I would die from wolves or werewolves or incoming vampires or evil spirits, if I unlatch the window, what if it blows open and then I catch a cold and then I die?
Oh no, we cannot have you dying from a chill. I'm sure that Aunt Lydia would also not wish you to die from a chill. So you've latched the window. You have silver around the window, so you're protected from any werewolves. And then there is a knock at the door, and a man you did not meet earlier comes into the room. He's sort of
He comes into the room. He doesn't even. We don't open the door. He just walks in.
Yes, he just walks into the room. He knocks and then he walks.
I scream so loud.
Well, he is startled. He had an armful of blankets and a pitcher of hot water for you, and everything goes everywhere. And he manages to throw the soaked. And
I beg my Aunt Lydia to protect my virtue.
I'm assuming that Aunt Lydia jumps into action, into defense.
I have no pity. He knocked in and walked in on 2 women in the 1800s. I think not. Like, that is insane. That is crazy behavior. He didn't even announce himself. He just walked in. He knocked once, walked in into a room with 2 women. Even today, if someone did that to me in the year 2024, I would be objectively furious if a stranger walked in with no warning. That's insane.
Well, he's limping a little bit. He has a bit of a hunch to his posture, and he apologizes profusely. He's a little bit hard to understand. His Romanian, it does not sound quite like the others.
Okay, I am going to ask Lady Van Helsing to translate that this was very inappropriate and that we apologize for scaring him, but it is inappropriate to enter a room in this way and that he should leave immediately, and that if he wishes to speak to us later, he can when we have cleaned up.
He apologizes profusely. He explains that the master always demands fresh towels and hot water immediately after getting in from a trip. And since this is normally the master's room at the inn after the master has been traveling, he just assumed that he was bringing things to the master and did not realize that it was not the master within, but that it was 2 very beautiful foreign ladies from across the sea.
I tell him his apology is accepted, and that we will not tell his master about this transgression out of the compassionate of my beautiful, beautiful, compassionate, kind bosom. It's the kindest of bosoms.
Yes. So he limps out.
What do you mean? This is my natural personality. This is just who I am.
He takes the sword and toweling with him, and there is now the sound of drums outside, along with the howling wolves. It's true. Drumming is happening. You hear the drums. The gentleman, well, perhaps not gentleman, we're not certain if he's a gentleman or not, but the man who came in explains that if you need him for anything, simply call for Igor, and of course he will come and assist you with whatever your needs may be. The master insists that he be a good assistant to everyone, as the master is the lord of Castle Murderblood.
Okay. So this is our invitation. Okay. Well, thanks. Great. I'm gonna get out of these wet clothes so I don't die of pneumonia, if that's cool with you.
He closes the door. But as he's closing it, he asks if you would like him to send up more hot water and perhaps a bath so that you may warm up.
I have not bathed for many a day. I've been on a train, a plane, and an automobile. So I think I have to, or I will be funky.
Yes. Well, a person is going to bring up your bath to you, and they will hopefully remember to announce themselves. But the drumming is getting really intense outside, and Aunt Lydia and Peterina are both a little bit concerned by this. You know, there's more whispering, more conversation between them about is there a celebration? Is this perhaps a christening or a kegger out in the woods? They're concerned it could be either of those things or something else. Meanwhile, there's a shuffling, heavy thud outside the door, another knock, rap, 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 and this time a voice through the doorway says, "The master has sent me to bring you hot water for a bath, but it is not the same voice as Igor's. It's someone else." And yeah, maybe it is the hussars partying.
Well, I have a party to go to. Is it tonight? Is the party tonight?
Yes, it's absolutely tonight.
Okay. Yeah, I've got to get going. We are behind schedule, and I like to be prompt.
All right. So you invite the bath in.
I will check with Auntie because I am not stupid, and I do not want my Auntie to be cross with me for making decisions without her consultation.
Oh, so passive, so
I
willing.
am not, just so we're clear, I am passive with the Auntie because I do not need, because if my chaperone gets angry with me, she will just leave me if I'm to die. And I don't wish to live that life.
No. Oh my goodness. Well, Aunt Lydia, what do you think? Do we have time for a bath before we go off to this party? Potentially a hussar kega in the woods?
Let's just say yes so we can speed this plot along.
Oh, all right, fine. So
it
you
is
take
7:45 and I am needing my dinner.
all right, fine.
Because if we take this time, we will be here for the entirety of the remainder of my life.
So you died in the bath. I'm so sorry.
The bath was a murder bath.
Well, that definitely hurried things along. So death is the only quick ending. Survival takes time.
Okay, well, I'll survive, I guess. Okay, does my aunt agree? I meant, does my aunt agree to the bath?
Yes, you get the bath, you take the bath, but the person bringing you the bath is sort of a surprise. He's very tall, covered in scars, moves a bit slowly, and very taciturn, and also rather green in color. Yeah, but he's has learned to be polite and to offer you things by asking first and not just barging in. So he's doing better
I
than
thank
before.
him for his work because I may be a woman of previously had means, but I am still someone who recognizes that the labor of others is what allows me to be beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, he does introduce himself as Adam and explains that he's an orphan and so grateful for kindness of strangers and shuffles out.
I tell him that like there's lots of great stories about strong orphans, and I hand him one of my books that I had brought with me because I've read it like 16,000 times now because we've been traveling for a while and I am sick of this book. So I hand him a book of fairy tales about strong, independent, and tell him all about the strong, independent orphans like Cinderella.
He's very excited. He takes the book.
I hand it to them, tell him that Cinderella, like him, was an orphan, and even she got to go to the ball. Oh. So maybe he'll be invited to the party someday. And let him know.
Very excited by this. He shuffles off. He leaves. You have time to have some ablutions, to get dressed, to get ready for the fete. Your auntie and Peterina Van Helsing are also getting ready. Peterina has decided she must come with you since neither of you speak Romanian, and really.
She's smart, she's talented, she's well dressed. Why wouldn't we bring her as a plus one?
And she's also taken the liberty of arranging a carriage to take you to the party from the inn.
I don't want to ride in hay anymore.
He was a very nice jacket, but you know. Do you take any special pains with your appearance?
Oh, of course, I have to wear my my signature look that really I pioneered, which is of course silverware as accessory. I'm doing a fork and a knife that are right here, and they're decoratively uh, they're decorated quite beautifully and they match quite elegantly to my outfit. I did lose all of my larger collars, but fortunately, the smaller collars still carry them quite well. They've been retrofitted by incredible jewelers to be quite stunning. It's really to take. I'm really trying to take silverware to the next level of fashion.
I see. Well, everyone is a bit stunned by your accessories, but as mentioned earlier,
Because
you're
they're
not a fashion
so hip.
right. You're not a fashion victim. You're an empress of accessories, and so you are ready to go. The coach is waiting. It's
Oh,
very
of course, I protect myself with some garlic perfume, assuming it's beloved by the locals. Just a whiff, just a kiss.
So you load into this very black carriage that has very black horses, and it turns out that the carriage was not the one from earlier, but is one sent down by the Lord of Castle Murderblood for any of his guests who might be at the inn after their travels.
Which he also owns.
Yes, he owns everything, it turns out. That
He's the Lord, so that makes sense.
he does. He does. It's true. So you pile into the carriage. There's a rather mysterious figure in the seat who is the carriage driver, but is very quiet, does not talk, and he's in a deeply shrouded cape. You can't see his face. His hands are covered in very thick black gauntlets. In fact, there's nothing about him that's visible at all. And this is a really good question. Is there anyone getting into this carriage with you? No, it's just the three of you in the carriage.
I love a private carriage.
Yeah.
I, of course, acknowledge and thank the help, as is my. I know where. I know that the guests talk. I know that the the house of every house talks. And if they say something about me, I want it to be she's nice. So I'm very polite and compassionate to literally everyone.
Except
I'm a real people pleaser beyond, like, of course, not letting myself get murdered.
So you get into this carriage with the silent carriage driver, and it's away you go. Now this carriage is moving fast, is barreling down the road, barreling through the woods. You can hear wolves crying on either side of you. There's howling. There's
You have a wolf problem? I wonder if it's a wolf problem or more like the wolves lived here and then we moved here and the wolves are like mad about it. I don't know. I mean,
really, it's hard to say.
The lesson is be faster than wolves and don't smell nice like meat. So I guess
like meat covered in garlic.
I mean, dogs don't like garlic. So
do we know if wolves like garlic? Are we
I
certain?
mean, are wolves? Is garlic bad for wolves?
So you are
barreling, that seems close enough.
Barreling down the road.
Oh, garlic, whether raw or cooked, is toxic to dogs.
Then hopefully.
I am not a delicious dinner to a dog.
That's our forest gentrifiers. There is a lot of like drum action happening as you make your way through the woods on this road. It's very windy. The carriage driver is taking it fast. You are like getting swirled about inside this carriage. It's so fast. It's a bit concerning. And at one point, you feel like not all of the wheels are on the road. Occasionally you're up on two wheels. A wheel is clearly sort of skidding off the edge of this road. It feels
I think to myself that if I were to tip, it would be very small, but no tip will be given today. This is a wild ride.
It is a wild ride. So you find yourselves coming along out of the forest, and you hear the wolves, you hear the drums, you see glimpses of fire in the distance in the
What is
forest.
this party? I asked my aunt if my brother is a crazy person. Is this a real bad idea?
Seems like it might be a bad idea. But the carriage almost goes over as you're rounding this last bend. It comes to a stop in the courtyard, and there's no sign of other carriages when it comes to a stop. It's the only carriage there that's letting you, your Aunt Lydia, and Peterina Van Helsing out of the carriage to go to this house party slash ball slash marriage mart experience.
Is it a bond? Like, are we are we early?
No, you're approximately 15 minutes late, which makes you suitably on time for fashionable events.
Oh Lord. I thought I was gonna meet a person in like a safe, open environment, but this is a lot of. Is my brother intended to be here, or did I
Your
get this in
brother
a
is
letter?
no, your brother is supposed to be here. You know, your brother was supposed to meet you at the event. You do see a few horses tied up to the side. They look like military horses, potentially, maybe
Well,
even
we don't
belonging.
have anything else to do. We go inside.
Yeah. So as you go up to the door, strangely, Igor from earlier is
Not
there
that
with
strange.
you.
His master owns the cottage.
Mm.
It's not that weird. It makes sense to me.
He welcomes you in. You, your aunt, Peterina are all welcomed in. He offers to take your cloaks if you have them.
I tell him I'm pretty cold, so I'm gonna wear mine for a little bit, just because it's
Mhm,
cold. I'm very
mhm,
cold. It's
mhm.
ice cold in this place.
Yeah,
Um,
it is very
I asked
chilly.
if Adam's around, if Adam is gonna be in attendance tonight.
Igor looks a little bit askance at you and asks how you met Adam, how you know Adam. You know this because, of course, Peterina is translating for you. She's so kind.
I tell him that it's like he was the one of the most friendly servants beyond yourself that we've
Mm.
met, and
Ah,
that we just like knowing that the servants are of such high stature like yourself.
mm. Well, he points to a very tall staircase and he explains that this staircase leads up to the entertaining floors. And so you're to get to dinner and the ball and everything, you're going to have to go up this staircase. He hopes that you wore comfortable, sensible shoes.
They are as sensible as is fashionable.
You begin to go up the stairs, and the shadows deepen around you. There aren't very many fires lit in this place. There aren't many torches. It's kind of dark, a little bit grim. There's no decoration, but at the top of the stairs, the creepy gentleman from the train is there to greet you. He's very excited that you're here.
I ask him about his decorative sense. Seems like there's not a lot going on in a very big room.
What is the manor decorated with? Mostly armor and swords, and a few axes here and there, and a lot of empty hearths with no fire in them. Um,
I ask him where my brother is. I'm so desperate to see him. I haven't seen him since he left for war.
oh, your brother is out in the woods with the gentrifying hussars. They're having a fete on their own after a very successful wolf hunt, he believes, and so
I
celebrating.
compassionately ask if he wouldn't mind sending Igor out to bring my brother to me, as I have patiently been waiting since he left for the war, and I was so concerned about his safety that I need to see him immediately.
Well, the the lord of the manor is willing to send Igor out to look for your brother, but then he offers you his arm. He's very insistent. He wants you to wrap your hand around his arm and come with him to his dining room, and perhaps your aunt and her companion would like to go to the library and look at books whilst you two get to know each other better. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nod, nod.
I look to my aunt and sort of try to telegraph, this seems real bad. Do not leave me alone with this man without speaking.
Have you looked deeply into his eyes?
I have, of course, in the immediate sense that I saw the mesmeristic man, I have correctly in my, I'm glad to not have lost my coat, because in my coat pocket are my protective spectacles.
And your aunt will not leave you alone with a strange man. She and Peterina insist that you must all go into dinner together for hors d'oeuvres and cocktails before the main event. And when you go inside, you discover that Adam has made his way there and is currently setting out the hors d'oeuvres and the cocktails. He's clearly not a guest. He is but a humble servant of the event.
I nod to him gracefully
Mm-hmm.
because, as I said, my one true failing is that I'm very clumsy and that I have a deep respect for the working class.
So Adam is very touched to see you there, and everything seems to be going swimmingly, although the lord of the manor keeps droning on about his financial situation, his vast holdings, the many castles he owns, the townhouse in London, the country house in Bristol. Why anyone would have a country house there is who knows, but that's where his is.
I listen sort of passively, but the more I look around the castle, the more I get the sense that this is a man who talks a lot about taste and wealth, but that doesn't have that much in terms of true wealth, because none of this is in the fashion. It's all super old, right? It's all super old.
Oh yeah, it's ancient.
I bet the hors d'oeuvres are even like very traditional, boring stuff.
Well, they are blood pudding canapes, so that's a
weird course.
And so he reaches to take your hand in his, and he acts as though he's about to kiss your hands.
I'm wearing gloves.
You're wearing gloves. Oh, how perspicacious of you. But as he gets close to your hand, the perfume seems to hit him in the face with its fragrance, and he rears back and he breaks character, and suddenly you see that he has fangs, and he makes such a look at you. He looks like he is ready for violence. Gone is the debonair face. Gone is the polished lord. And now before you is a vampire. What do you do?
I, prepared for every moment, turn to Van Helsing and I sort of nod to her and say, you're prepared for this, right?
Well,
this seems in your wheelhouse. And then in the meantime, I take off my fork and knife and form a cross out of the two pieces of silverware and press it directly into his forehead.
Oh, it is what he screams. He reels back. There's a red mark on his forehead. In fury, he throws a hand at the fireplace and magically creates fire in the fireplace. You hear Adam screaming in the background.
I turn to Adam and I like pull off my glasses so that he can see my true eyes, not the vampire, Adam.
Oh,
I look to Adam and I tell him, I know that it's scary, but you're a big, strong person and you deserve to not work for someone who's so clearly a rake, literally draining women for blood. You are clearly made for better things. You are Cinderella. You deserve a better life than this.
Adam makes eye contact with you and he comes running over to you and he's like, we have to go. This is a bad place. And he grabs you. It's a very surprising maneuver. He grabs you around the waist. He hurls you over his shoulder and he starts running towards that staircase. I mean, it's more of a shuffle with a hop to it because his shoes are very heavy.
I am saying, no, Adam, we must turn and fight because this clearly this beautiful castle murder blood deserves a better ruler, a dark and terrible queen. And I proceed to like douse my knife in garlic perfume, and with the precision gained from my years of practice in knife throwing due to my deep obsession in the circus, throw it directly into his eye.
Into Adam's eye?
No, into the vampire's eye.
Oh, into the vampire's eye. So you aim for the vampire's eye. As you are hurling your dagger towards the vampire to finish him off, you discover that Aunt Lydia and Peterina have also joined forces, and they are both using Hungarian swords that they've ripped from the walls of the castle to fence with the vampire, and that Peterina, of course, happened to have a stake in her pocket, as one does, and so they are doing battle. And as you hurl,
I do a little flip off of Adam and say, Adam, don't worry, I'll protect you. And then I will join them with a table leg that I broke off, and I'll be like, this is the real steak for dinner, and then we'll shove it into his face.
Oh my goodness.
It's hard.
Well, you, Peterina, and Aunt Lydia are very successful in defeating the vampire. And Adam is so moved by your prowess and your bravery in the face of the vampire overlord that he reveals to you that he's actually the son of a very famous doctor of science who has left him a small fortune, and that he would like to pledge his troth to you. He's quite in love with you.
I tell him that I'm quite interested, but that my true love will always be books. And so I'm going to go to university, and that I cannot be a wedded lady at university. It's too much.
He hopes you'll go to university in Germany. So that's...
I'm gonna go with we're all gonna go to university together because Professor Van Helsing is clearly got a doctorate, and I would like to learn vampire hunting. Obviously, I've got a knack for it. I really was prepared. The silverware was in the silver sword was in my heart the whole time.
The whole time. So the professor is happy to take you on as her student. And of course, Aunt Lydia insists that she must come along and also study and maybe set up a little, pied de terre.
She's invited. She's of course invited. I want her to be there. Lydia saved my life and saved my virtue on multiple occasions. Lydia is irreplaceable.
Yeah. Now, your brother and his chums do finally stumble in at the end of all of this to discover that you are going to Germany to study with the professor and your aunt. He is looking a little bit furrier around the collar, a little bit unkempt, but he seems quite happy with his new situation in life. There's a lot of hugging and backslapping and other area slapping amongst him and the other hussars.
So I make sure that he knows that he should claim this castle for the name of our family because we defeated an evil of great value, and that he should protect this community from evil and not eat it.
And not eat it. Well, he does admit that the summers here are quite lovely, and he was getting really tired of the hussar business. So
I support him in all my endeavors, and my heaving bosom really believes in his truth.
Yes. Adam is very keen to accompany the three of you to Vienna or Heidelberg or wherever you're going. But you have survived. You managed to survive. You are successful. You did not succumb to any of the potential pitfalls as a heroine in Hunt of a Husband at Castle Murder Blood. Congratulations, Grand Arbiter. You are freed to go and eat your dinner with dear Lord Aspen. And
Before we go, though, very quickly.
yes, let's give our news for
If
everyone.
you're missing out on Halloween, Halloween comes back in March for Wild Wild West Con's Halloween Adventures. Specifically, those who don't know, we host a great Dragon Burlesque show that is irreplaceable, and it is tickets sell fast, and they are now available. This is the first announcement that they're available. You should think about getting those tickets as soon as you can so that you don't miss out, because lots of people miss out and they are bummed. Don't be a dumb ingenue. Be a smarty. Wear silverware and go to the drag show.
Yes. So we have got the wonderful Drag Burlesque show at Wild West Con. That's Friday night. Get your tickets. It will sell out. There's also a concert Saturday night this year with some fun musical guests. And so get ready for Wild West Con. Welcome back. More spooky season. Maybe we'll just be spooky all the way through March, because
who knows?
Why not?
There's no tea this next week because Madame Askew is going to be at TuskCon. And then book club is November 17th. So you guys will have a great time. I have to leave because I've had a whole pot of adventure and now I must visit the pot. We will see y'all later. Love you, madam. Love you, everyone.
Please take very good care of yourselves. Check in at the Patreon. Grand Arbiter, go ahead and zoom out and I'll finish off our last notes.
Thank you, my darling. Kiss, kiss. Fall in love.
Yes, good job. Well survived. So everyone, we have book club on the 17th, and our book this month is the very wonderful Cecilia and Sorcery, or The Enchanted Chocolate Pot, and it's a wonderful epistolary novel. It's very fun, very charming. It'll be a great read. Book club happens at 4:30 p.m. Pacific time. Please remember that the time change is happening in November before book club, and that will affect only Arizona, because we always set our time to Pacific time, to Seattle, so that there's not a lot of confusion. So Arizona readers, be certain to set your clock for 5:30 rather than 4:30. So book club is coming up, and we will be back for Friday tea, not this coming week, but the following week. And if you go to our Patreon, the calendar is up there for all to see, so you can see our upcoming events in November. For those who cannot join me in person, I will be live streaming as many of the panels from TuskCon as possible. TuskCon is our wonderful local small convention that happens every year in November. This is year 51, and the special guest is Cory Doctorow. It's going to be a fantastic weekend. I know tickets are still available if you are here in Arizona or can make it here. We're going to have a wonderful time. It'll be fantastic. I think that's most of the news. Of course, there's going to be more news in the future. We'll post wherever we typically post. But thank you all so much for being here. I know the Grand Officer had to run away, as it were, to release the Kraken. But I have been so happy to spend this evening with all of you, and I know the Grand Officer also had such a fantastic time. Thank you for being the magic and for supporting all of us in doing the ridiculous nonsense that we do week in, week out. The Grand Arbiter and I treasure this time with all of you, and we love having the opportunity to host tea. This is my little reminder that Patreon is what makes all of this possible, including book club and our Sip the Tea that is happening this month. Details to be released, but our Sip the Tea guest is the wonderful Elizabeth Bear, and I'm so excited to welcome her back for tea time. I know we're going to have a wonderful conversation about art and all the nonsense that makes an artistic life possible. That always happens Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Pacific and is live streamed in all the places that we live stream our Friday tea. A final note that this is the first of the month. So if you are a Patreon subscriber, please make certain that all of your details are correct so that you can continue to get our special content that we post there. And if you're not a Patreon subscriber, I hope you will consider joining us there. Patreon is what makes everything possible. And we love that collaboration, and we love being to do all of these wonderful things. As a last note, my darlings, since the Grand Arbiter has left, I can take a little bit, a moment to remind you how absolutely irreplaceable you are and what treasures you are. So please remember, on the 1st of November, on this All Souls, when the veil is still thin between the worlds and we are remembering our beloved friends and family who are not with us, that you are absolutely irreplaceable, and that without you, the magic would not be possible. So please take very good care of yourselves. Drink some tea, get your vaccines and boosters, eat some vitamins and minerals, and just do something kind and lovely for yourselves today. I'll see you in a couple of weeks. And thank you, everyone. This is so kind. Thank you very much, dear Cindy Joy. We will be back for more nonsense after TUSCON and book club, and all of that is coming up. Happy spooky season, everyone. Thank you for a wonderful tea. Cheers.